People don't like to admit it, but stereotypes exist for a reason, and there are plenty to get your teeth into when you're talking about cruise ships. Today's cruise tube is 10 passenger stereotypes. Which one are you? Here, ladies and gentlemen, we go. Number 1 is Hyacinths. Now we all know these people. Hyacinths love to act superior, and they'll make out that they're infinitely wealthy and they went to private school. When you notice the number on their key card and ask them what an obstructed sea view cabin is like, they'll make up some nonsense or other about how the lifeboat provides lovely shade, or they've got whatever the opposite of claustrophobia is called, and that's why they don't book a big suite. Listen, Hyacinth, we all know that obstructed views can be a bargain, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Of course, Hyacinth loves to complain about people not following the dress code. In fairness, I like people to follow the code of the day too. But if Cunard say smart jeans are fine, then smart jeans are fine, no matter how much Hyacinth whines on about it. Hyacinths make a big effort to let you know that they love string quartets and afternoon tea. But by mid-morning, they're 3 sherries deep and they're starting to get aggressive with the bar staff in the Golden Lion because they want their fish and chips. Number 2, Farage. Some of you may recognise this horrible creature from previous cruise tubes. The type of guy who says things like, "The problem with this government, right?" and loves to share spurious stories about the boat people. This is the guy that arrived after me for breakfast in the main dining room on Queen Victoria, and before I'd even ordered was at the next table being a complete clucking banker to the waiter. "Why has this taken so long?" It was less than 5 minutes from ordering to arriving at his table. "Why is this freezing cold?" I don't know if it was, but mine arrived absolutely fine a minute or so later. As he stood up aggressively, I got to my feet just in case he needed to have decent behaviour explained to him in a way that he would understand. But that wasn't required. The waiter handled it excellently. "I'm going to the buffet where the standards and the service is up to scratch." The waiter chuckled. "Okay, sir, you enjoy your buffet." As Farage stormed past me, I said super loud, "Blimey, this arrived so fast. I wonder how they got it so piping hot." His wife did a little giggle as he huffed away, and she stayed behind to eat her breakfast. She actually ordered more toast. And the waiter gave me a wee smile and a wink. This picture is of Farage equally exasperated at 3:33. 3 minutes after afternoon tea services started, and he hasn't got a full cup or a plate full of sandwiches and scones yet. Cruise ship crew are actual human people doing a job. They're not slaves, and they should be treated decently. Now, I'm anti-violence, and I believe that education through words is always a positive. So whenever you see a Farage, get a Sharpie and write, "Be better, you racist," on your knuckles, and beat him around the head until he's learnt the lesson. Number 3, Billy Big Banana. My most recent experience of a Billy Big Banana was on Arcadia. There was a couple on my shared dining table, Rob and Sarah, fact fans. And over the course of dinner time chit chat, this Billy Big Banana was telling me all about his career as a top international DJ. At 7 PM he was telling me about the tech specs on QM2's nightclub compared to Virgin Voyages and how he could have consulted on the soundproofing. But by 9 PM his tales had unravelled somewhat and he was forced to admit that he actually works in a Volvo dealership and he DJs kids' birthday parties and the occasional social club wedding. Once, he even did a sound check for the best friend of a dude that had once met Pete Tong. Billies are not bad people. They're just people who wish that they'd followed their passions instead of falling into the daily grind. They get a bit carried away with the escape from real life that holiday represents for a lot of people, and they probably believe what they're saying whilst they're saying it. Number 4, the one-upper. Now, I'm an old dude, and I'm even older at heart, so I like traditional dining, set time, shared table. This is where you'll generally get to chit-chat with a one-upper. If you've been on a million cruises, they've been on 1,000,003. If you've done a world cruise, they've cruised to the moon. I'm on Virgin Voyages right now, and there's no main dining room or traditional dining. But last night I ate at the Korean barbecue restaurant Gumbay, where a host cooks the food at the table and 9 guests are seated around a little grill thing. You can meet all my table mates and a full review of all the dining options if you look out for my Scarlet Lady videos. Coming soon! This particular one-upper, like all one-uppers, both rubbed me up the wrong way and made me feel a bit sorry for her. The constant showing off, talking over people and weird flexes. In this case, I know one of the comedians on board personally. I can, sort of, speak 5 different languages, if we include English, and as it turns out, if we mean being able to order a beer as speaking the language. Well, it grates. But try to tolerate these people. More often than not, it's insecurity and unhappiness that makes them act this way, and similar to Billy Big Banana, they aren't really trying to beat you or win, they're just desperate for your approval. 5A and 5B, Dazza and Shazza. When not on a cruise ship, Dazza likes to spend his leisure time stood outside his front door in a white vest, usually with a can of beer that he rests on the old washing machine that has been there for so long that it's got moss growing on it. He is the reason that drinks packages may one day be killed off. Though he gets through so much buffet bacon that he'll have keeled over long before that day comes. Shazza is basically the same dude with longer hair, and she's usually wearing Crocs. The best part of being on a cruise for her is that someone else handles the frying pan. You see, Shazza doesn't know that there are other ways to cook. She can match Dazza pint for pint and probably punch for punch if their 3 AM screaming matches ever come to it. Probably best to keep them away from Virgin Voyages and the Deck 16 boxing ring. 6A and 6B, Dazzette and Shazzette. Now, this is not all kids, but it is some kids. Most kids on ships are pretty well behaved when they're out in the wild. They spend most of their time in kids' club, where I suppose it could be being a nightmare, but at kids' club they're someone else's nightmare. In fairness, even Dazzette and Shazzette are always someone else's nightmare for me. I don't spend my time where they do. You'll find these little treasures from early until late treating the Lido pool as if it belongs to them and using the hot tubs as a bath cum toilet. They only venture away to prod and poke things in the buffet. Obviously they haven't washed their hands since they left Southampton. And as night falls and you think you're going to be safe, they can be found in the sports bar climbing on tables and hitting each other with the no kids after 9 PM signs, whilst Dazza and Shazza argue over karaoke choices. Number 7, Lads, Lads, Lads. Now, lads can be men or women. You'll usually find them on 3 and 4 nighters out of Southampton. They're easy to spot from a mile away with their matching slogan t-shirts, sashes, tiaras, inflatable men, or women. Most often they're hen or stag do's, but the odd birthday party or divorced and free celebration sneaks in too. Hopefully my experience so far will hold true. At first sight, these groups inspire a feeling of utter dread. But they are living in a parallel world to me, and really a new type of ship within a ship that regular cruisers love to talk about. Other than wearing pink glitter cowboy hats at the breakfast buffet, I don't really ever see them again. Most of the day they're on the Lido deck with Dazza and Shazza, where I never go. They're still sober-ish when I cross paths with them through the day, and they don't go to the shows. By the time they get really out of hand at the not-so-silent disco, I'm away in my bed where a 42-year-old man belongs at 10 PM. Number 8, the Lido Loser. A lot of cruise lines have a no reserving sunbeds policy these days. How well that gets enforced, I really don't know. I've already had cancer once, so even if I wasn't bored out of my tree after 3 minutes of sunbathing, I wouldn't be spending my time around the pool. But I am aware of a certain type of passenger, the Lido Loser, that sets an alarm for 5 AM, runs out to put their towels and bags and books that never get read, Bravo 20 or 50 Shades usually, on the supposed best sun loungers, and then, as far as I can tell, only returns at about midnight to pack all their stuff away again for the next 5 hours before doing it all over again the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Number 9. The Cruise Critic. Now, the Cruise Critic is not just a website for people to shout into the echo chamber or endlessly repeat, "When I'm travelling in grills," they're looking at you, Victoria, too. It is a type of passenger. They exist on land too, although they're known as trip advisors. These people are too busy looking for faults and complaints that they forget to enjoy anything at all. Last time I was on QM2, a dude plunked himself beside me at King's Court, put down his plate of Eggs Benedict, and looked at them suspiciously. I bet these are rubbery and awful and horrible. He took a bite and immediately declared, "I knew it, just like yesterday." Cruise hack for you people. When you know that you don't like something, don't choose to eat it. It's as if they've got a checklist of misery to tick off. Dirty glass? Check. Slow service? Check. Not liking food that I didn't like yesterday? Check. These people are only happy when they're unhappy. Number 10. The YouTuber / Instagrammer / TikToker. I mean the bad kind, obviously. I'm not talking about the good ones. You know, the handsome, charismatic, 42-year-old former athletes that mind their own business and don't get in anybody's way. I'm talking about the ones that sit with a camera on a tripod, loudly commentating on every mouthful whilst they're sat at a shared dining table in the main dining room, or have people diving for cover so they aren't in shot whilst they hold their phone up in the air and stare into the camera saying, "Hi guys," or, I don't know, ranting about being asked not to invade people's privacy whilst disembarking halfway through an MSC cruise. I mean, why are they holding their phone up so high anyway? Presumably, so people can admire their new turkey hair, I suppose. If you think there's a more deserving stereotype that I've missed, tell me in the comments and I'll tell you why you're wrong. The ups and downs for my Scarlet Lady experience are on the way, so subscribe now to make sure you don't miss the only cruise tube opinion that matters to me. Until next week, 10 cruise passenger stereotypes. Which one are you? Done.